Ni manju. Ta manju. Wabaloma wo. Wabaloma wo. Wabaloma wo. Kenya pasase. Na ibusu kumisa. Na. Majesty be feni ogan yula. Mani yula. Wawi. Ulom. Ka kuso fele feke kama fe yula. Ben ele sin odmoje oton. Sin ocho ni nbe. Be o manye nyelo ni South Africa. Ni egbeji His Excellency. President Jacob Zuma. Lele mene ke na ne baga. Eke ni ga be ba national. Eke ke baga ni ke ni ke gbe yin. Sane ke ga cha gbe. Dan de to ma. E ba ke le ko me o ke ni je. Ke wala fe no. Se mo je. No ya ke be fi mo. Ne ba ne be ke jo mo ba e fe wo no. Ke ya wo jo mo ba ni na. Na fo shina dis. Na fe mo tan wa dis. Me ne ke fota ke ba fe o ke wala fi ami no. To tell them what you know. Fatal. E wo kume. Many body boy for the laugh no. Any fake of Mangana. Ke ga fe ka ma me ma fe kume. Wala fe ni ka me de funi ne be fe ka. Le ne ba mo ku pato so mo. Si wa ga ni mo bi wala pe wala fe no. Tell mo je no. Na fe ala go ne ba no. Wai ne ba ne pe da fe ke na ne ba obi. Ni jo ma fe wo no. E sa ko mo ko to ka so
On behalf of the Chairman of the Council, Government Council of UPSA, I'm happy to lead this delegation to His Royal Majesty's Palace of Teiko State. And I'm also privileged to be the one to introduce the delegation. His Royal Majesty, this morning we are here present with that is His Excellency, the former President of the Republic of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, who is in the country for a special task on the land of UPSA. And he came with his delegation from the political party he leads. And I will also mention that we did not come alone, but we have the representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by one of your children, the children of the land now, who is with us. Then we have the chairman of the Governing Council of UPSA, in the person of Dr. Larry Agbanu, who is the chairman of our Governing Council. And made it possible, he agreed and sanctioned what we are doing this morning. Then, we also have the registrar of the University of Professional Studies, one of your children as well, Mrs. Lauren Jan, yeah. Weki, sorry, I forgot the Weki, the middle name. We also have the Director of Public Affairs in our midst, in the person of Mrs. Abaluku. Mrs. Abaluku is in our midst. His Royal Majesty, sorry. We also came with a number of delegation from UPSA. I wouldn't finish this introduction without making mention of our liaison, who is the person of Mr. Tsuru, one of your children as well. His Royal Majesty, I'm John Samauto, one of your adopted children, because I was born on the land, just a few kilometers from this palace. Thank you for the opportunity. Finally, His Royal Majesty, just as I mentioned earlier, the purpose of this gathering have been mentioned by the MC. But given this opportunity, His Excellency is in the country to deliver a special presentation on one of the emerging economic blocks when it comes to global economic management. That is the new economic bloc: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Indeed, South Africa is the first African country to have joined this bloc. And for that reason, as a university, we found it very, very important to invite this man to this country to share the success story of South Africa since they joined the bloc, and how relevant it will be for the entire African region to appreciate the relevance of either aligning with this bloc or not. And we found no other person on the African continent than His Royal Majesty Jacob Zuma. Thank you, His Royal Majesty, for giving the opportunity to your palace this morning.
Media, Excellency, distinguished audience. Let me say on behalf of the King, what a pleasure it is for him to have the honor of receiving Your Excellency and your delegation to the palace. Secondly, we wish to recall that relations with South Africa antedated the liberation of South Africa from apartheid system. Indeed, in preparation for the independence of many countries in the Southern African region and elsewhere, we tried to lead the commitment and declaration made by Osagifo Dr. Pami Kuma, who said that the independence of Ghana was meaningless unless it was linked with the total liberation of the African continent. In that spirit, the government of Ghana, the first government and subsequent ones, decided to assist liberation fighters who were trained here in Congo to pursue the freedom of Africa. And specifically, we had liberation fighters also from the Southern African region. Ghana also decided to give diplomatic passports to officials of the freedom fighters who traveled around to lobby for support for the liberation of the African countries who were then still under colonial rule or foreign occupation. So these were the antecedents, and in case of South Africa, Ghana specifically decided also to provide mobile cinema vans for the ANC to mobilize the rural populations with the mobile vans so that the elections that brought President Mandela to become the leader of South Africa would be fought successfully. So a lot of these mobile vans went to the rural areas and were mobilizing the people and giving them the needed awareness for victory for the ANC, which came as a matter of course. Subsequent to that, that is in the era of independence of South Africa, it was during the presidency of President Jacob Zuma that Ghana organized the then first official visit of President John Atta Mills to South Africa, and that was when 14 agreements were signed with the Republic of South Africa. The first was the agreement for the waiver of visas for Ghanaians and South Africans traveling to each other's country. And this protocol is now fully in agreement, operation, fully in operation. We have them in phases, but the last phase has now come into effect. So our people traveling with ordinary Ghanaian passports and South Africans traveling with ordinary passports now do not need to get visas. The aim of this agreement between the two visionary leaders, President Zuma and President Atta Mills, was to make Africa a common home for all Africans. And I think we are now bearing the fruits, reaping from the fruits of that agreement. The second, the two leaders decided that the standards authorities of the two countries should mutually accept certification of products and approvals given by each other's authority. So when you get certification from your standards authority, you don't have to go through the same process again in the other country before the rules will be accepted. And this was to boost bilateral trade and ensure the movement of high quality goods between our two countries. And this is also a very important agreement. The third, to which I would like to refer, was the agreement to boost agricultural products. After all, in Africa, we are mainly agrarian. So bilateral products, agricultural products from the two countries were to move more freely through the removal of phytosanitary restrictions and other forms of restrictions like quotas and so on. So between our two countries, the two presidents decided our agricultural produce should also move more freely. And I think we have been benefiting from this. But allied to this was the freeing of borders for the companies, commercial concerns, so that we can set up in each other's country without problems. And so in Ghana, we saw GAME, we saw ShopRite, we found Mr. Price, and some engineering and construction companies all coming to set up in Ghana. And we also had Ghanaian manufactured products moving to South Africa, led by Pasapek, which brought Alimo beaters, very famous in South Africa, and Ghanaian fashion and clothes manufacturers who also moved to South Africa. And every year at Magnolia Dale Park, we used to have exhibition of Ghanaian products, and then craftsmen and manufacturers of furniture, etc., also displaying our products there. And we usually have a Ghanaian artist who will come and play Ghanaian songs. And the South Africans love dancing to those songs. So these are the antecedents for the visit of today. And I believe His Excellency will be very happy that some of the work he did with President Mills are bearing fruit for us all to enjoy. So we thank him for the initiative taken on the BRICS, and we hope that all of us will benefit from the full effects. So we thank you, and once again on behalf of the King, we welcome you.
Please put your hands together and in honor, welcome to hear from the former President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Jacob Zuma.
Your Majesty, Your Worship, and all other important leaders who are here. And everyone who's here, please, because I wouldn't be able to know each name, I would say thank you very much for the opportunity. I am traveling with my Deputy President, and I've given him the task to say a few words. I will be speaking tomorrow. For now, as a brother that I trust and who is number 2. So I'm giving him the opportunity to speak today, Your Excellency. I will do the speaking tomorrow. I hope that is acceptable. Thank you.
First and foremost, I would like to greet everyone here, starting with the kings. The kings mean so much to us as African people. I would also like to greet other dignitaries. There are ambassadors here and people with big titles. Mine is a small contribution. It is simply to say, we came here last night as part of the delegation of President Zuma. I will tell you why we continue to refer to him as President Zuma. There are 2 reasons. First of all, President Zuma is the best president that South Africa has ever had. There is no question about it. He did so much under his tenure, including BRICS that he's going to be telling us a lot about tomorrow. Secondly, and in any event, President Zuma is president of Umkhonto weSizwe Party. He is the leader and I'm his deputy. Umkhonto weSizwe Party started when President Zuma realized that the ANC that we have in South Africa was no longer the ANC that liberated South Africa. it had sold out, and therefore President Zuma decided to create a new political home so that ultimately the ANC will be corrected, so that ultimately the ANC will fulfill its mandate to liberate the oppressed African masses in South Africa. It feels great to be in Ghana. I must confess this is my first visit. I have traveled extensively in Africa, Southern Africa, Central Africa, Eastern Africa. One thing common whenever you travel in Africa is this. It is the warmth that we feel. Right now, I don't feel like I'm in a foreign country. This is Africa. This is home. We must not forget the fact that in 1885, Africa was divided by Europeans. At the Berlin Conference, there is not a single African leader who was present when Africa was divided into what it is today. You remember, for example, Ghana, what is known today as Ghana, Benin, and Nigeria was once one huge country before 1885. When 1885 came, you ended up with many countries, including Ghana, Nigeria, and Benin, which means theoretically today, there can be war declared by Ghana against Nigeria. Fellow Africans fighting against each other. I am sure we'll not fall into that as wise African people. For us as Umkhonto weSizwe Party, the land is very important when it comes to the struggle. We struggled as the African people to ensure that we get our resources, which continue to go to Europe every day. We are struggling as the African people to ensure that the land is returned to the African people. Before the white men came to Africa, the land belonged to the kings. It could never be the subject of private ownership. You couldn't say, I own this block of flat. There were no fences which are common today, dividing fellow African people. So as part of our mandate in Umkhonto weSizwe Party, we want the land to be returned to the kings, who are the custodians of the land, who are the owners of the land. And this is common throughout Africa. That's what Umkhonto weSizwe Party stands for. That is doable. That is achievable, and I have no doubt we'll achieve that in our lifetime. To us, the kings are important. They mean so much to us. They are part of our heritage. The kings are part of our culture, and you will remain as the kings. We will remain loyal to you because we take you seriously, we value your guidance, and you mean so much more to us.
You are welcome, sir. All fathers of this land, great fathers of this land, hear our voices. Hear our voices and amplify our voices as we welcome Azania, as we welcome Azania to the God of the land. Here we are. The spear of the nation is here to build the bridges of the Nkrumahs and the Mandelas. They are here to be our brothers. You've done so much for Africa, and we shall never forget your exploits. Nina, Ga Mantse, Ibodi Mani, Afunya, Yumo Ajo, Ibodi Mani. Otinto, Oti on top, got to cheer, Obeshi, Ofio, Ibodi Mani. Nasceram, a minha caminheta poe, me vai, me baixa, me batubi. O que cada saga foi iniciar, o que apagar e bago na ali. Minha apagar, me batubi. Oh, tua bela, o que é que você fez? Uma noite. Nígbà tó bí ẹ̀jẹ̀ bàbà aṣọ òkúta national fẹ́kẹ̀ òní. Abiasuma 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 abẹ́lẹ́jì àfàyè wáyà ahàlàbí àkọ́kọ́ ọ̀yẹ́ kankan tó mọ̀ sọ́yà. Then, I mean, back here, Kashi, class 1, 2, 8. Only me, you can get and para yourself. Okay, we see a do come here, the machine. Okay, we don't know any amount for far more than Abakuma, Abakuma, Kabakuma, and the Frogone Yaba. Frogone me tea. And the Kaba, a black one playing Akaba was shy. Number one, Yafu. I make a mean share. Capone, Dimity, about that fish, waffle what they Cafe, Mantse, Cafe, here, Cafe, here, come, Okubi, Ono. Will be over the again. What a one name, the Asher, any Sunny Asher.
His Majesty, Teiko, Ga Mantse, the President of Ga Council, Ishma, Fabia, Piasma.
Amen. Ni meken amen. Ago cheme kenyeme. Amen. Your Excellency, President Jacob Zuma, you're welcome to Accra. You're welcome to this great city. I think this is the second time we're meeting. The first time was a great honor because we had to go back to talk about the Alkebulan story. The fact that Africa is source. And the fact that we need to come together socio-economically to build Africa and put it on the world map. That we must tell our story one more time because the narrative has changed. We have third parties talking about our narrative, talking about our history. It's about time that we tell our own history, that Africa is mother of the world. Your Excellency, it is a true honor to receive you in the Ga State. This meeting is not just between leaders, but it is Africa reminding itself of its strength and shared destiny. We know you as a leader who stood firm for your people and for the dignity of our continent.
That legacy speaks so to generations beyond South Africa. Your reflections of Africa's economic future on how we can trade and grow our own terms touch on something very vital. The freedom of nations to define their own path. Thus, what you have at BRICS. Ghana shares in that same spirit, and we applaud you greatly for that. For us in the Ghana state, we believe that culture must walk side by side with the economic independence of our people. Our culture is our destiny, and our dignity, our wealth. When we strengthen both, Africa's future will be secured. Your Excellency, you're most welcome to Accra. Like I said, you're at home. The other time, I don't know, you tried some jollof, but maybe today you have to try some kinky, because that is our staple food. And in Ghana, we say, komi keke nang. You should be able to remember that. Among the Ghana people, you are family. To me, you are a big brother. And forever, you would be so to me. May your visit strengthen the ties of friendship and remind us all that true leadership is service, courage, and vision. On that note, sir, you're truly welcome to this palace. Chano Manyaba.
Yeah.
By the High Priest of the Ga State, Nai Wulomo Numu Ga Mantse, assisted by the Vice Chancellor of the UPSA, Professor John Mauto. With him also is the Chairman of the Governing Board of UPSA. The presentation has been done. His Excellency has received it. His Excellency will now be adorned with the Nyanyira, which is a royal symbol of good riddance. That's the hyssop, which is a royal symbol of good riddance from His Royal Majesty.
Thank you.